Jack was in our office and saw a bunch of plans stacked up. How was the public involved in developing all of those plans, and how do you make them a reality? Is that a good synopsis? Well, depending on how far back with the plans you go, back in the 50s and 60s, Little Rock was run by a small group of wealthy white men who met at a round table at the Men's Grill at the Little Rock Country Club or in a bank office building. And that's how decisions were made. And the public was not consulted and wasn't particularly involved. From that point, and that's not unusual, by the way, most of the cities in the country were run that way at that period of time. From that point on, we've been increasingly getting public input in our plans. You know, I've learned as a planner in Arkansas that perseverance is the key quality that you've got to have. If you develop a plan broad-based, and it's the process is almost as important as the plan document itself, then people remember that plan, and it may take 10 years to get it built, it may take 20 years to get it built, it may take 50 years to get some things built. Some things may never get built. But perseverance is an important quality. This is we do public planning. There's a whole other section of the planning profession that does private planning, and probably the leading example of that in this area is Jim Moses, who's got his master's in urban and regional planning from Florida and does private land development, okay? But from a public standpoint, there's an old saying that over time in a democracy, people get exactly the kind of government they deserve, okay? So if things aren't happening as fast as you want them to happen, then look in the mirror and say, what can I do to make my elected officials more responsive to what the public wants?
Do you want to add to that, Bud, or are you good?
I was quite happy that Jim took that. But, I think, I'm enjoying the heck out of UCA right now and this community economic development program they have there. And it gives me a chance to work with grad students over there who are trying to make their communities better across the state. And so it's a small class, but I've got people working in Texarkana, Hot Springs, Batesville, and Conway in my class. So it's really a lot of fun to see how they're doing things and how their worldview works. But public participation can be a fool's errand. I mean, it can be a complete fool's errand. You can chase every one of the meetings, and you can run these things down, and you can answer that question that someone else formed. And so, like, getting involved in his thing where you're telling him up front what you want for Little Rock is not a bad little thing to participate in. But I guess we had, I'm here primarily because the people who do Science Cafe live in my neighborhood, and we had a little fight with the city over punching a street through between Hinson and Rawling Road. And I was the planner guy who lived in the neighborhood who said, I've got probably 60,000 reasons why that road shouldn't go through, and every one of them's got George Washington's picture on it in the way of equity if I can't back out my driveway. And I've been an expert in planning for all these years, but I never had skin in the game, and it really wakes you up a little. And so we participated in the public process, but we didn't do it the way most folks in Arkansas seem to, because I don't come from around here. And so what we did is Dana's here. Dana ordered yard signs, and we put a website address on it. We made a temporary website for that address. And then I put Shake and Bake on that website. Everything you need to raise hell with the city of Little Rock, the directors, the city manager, the mayor, petitions. And then we didn't just put a petition on there saying, we're darn mad because you're doing something in our neighborhood. We said we support complete streets for Little Rock, where everyone has a chance to walk, ride their bike, or drive their car. I mean, how many people ride bikes in here? Okay, put your hand down if you don't drive a car. Well, what, really? They should all come back up, exactly. We're all the same people here, so this community needs to serve all of us. And so what our fight was about was broadening this to not just about that one street, but about all these streets, and making them places we can walk, ride our bikes. Because I knew that if I'm going to be an effective advocate for my community, it can't be about hurting the value of Bud's house. I need allies. And so we reached out, and it wasn't just our neighborhood. We figured out every other neighborhood that'd be impacted by that, and we reached out to them. And one of those big red yard signs went on all the key corners in those neighborhoods with that website on it. And it didn't get stuck in until I rang the doorbell and asked the person that lived there, hey, here's what's going on. Did you know that the city's going to do X, Y, Z in your neighborhood? Would you like one of these signs we paid for? And would you tell your neighbors to go to that site and pull down that petition and get them all to sign it and then send it to the city? And be sure and basically shake and bake activism. And we turned out, Dana, 400 and some petitions, almost 500 petitions. They don't get that kind of participation in Little Rock. I come from a place where a city this size should have a room large enough to hold most of us in it if we want to raise hell. And so when I saw the room that the city had, I realized we're challenged when it comes to public participation here. We don't even have the facilities to participate. And so we filled that sucker standing room only for over 5 hours. And when we were done, we got what we wanted, because that's the way government works. We didn't get everything we wanted, but we got enough of it that the negative impacts of what they were up to are gone. And I think that that's an instructive process, and that's what I want to help people understand in their community. Not that we have to beat the city. I've got good friends that work there. I just wanted to beat that one proposal back because it was ill-advised. It came from a developer, and we needed to shape it a little. So that's probably maybe more than you wanted to hear, but that's a process. You have to teach people how to do that. We're way too polite here. Well, shoot, we might say bless his heart, but bless his heart isn't really good on a sign that you're holding up in front of City Hall. So